What's up, guys? Joe Ingram 1, aka Chicago Joe here. It's prop bet time again. We're here bringing you a preview of the Yaarny $300,000 PLO prop bet, and we're going to be joined later by Yaarny himself. He talked to me a bit about his preparation going in, his strategy, and I brought up the idea of me possibly joining them for a possible celebration in Malta, and that turned into a celebration in Ibiza. So it's about 25 minutes I recorded with him, and that audio will play after I break down the bet a little bit, explain the rules, talk about the bettors, and yeah. So let's get into it here. Here's the rules. Needs to win 100 buy-ins in 31 days. Stakes played, 5, 10, 10, 20, 25, 50, 50, 100, 100, 200, and I mean, he's crazy. He might play 200, 400 if it's running. Approximate starting date, later today. Unless he had a rough night last night, which he said he was planning to rage to prepare. So, we're hoping he's okay. Tables to be played, only regular, Zoom, and deep ante tables. None of the heads-up tables will be allowed, but he can start tables with anyone of his choosing, and that play will be allowed. And minimum hands played need to be 70,000 hands. The reason the 70,000 hand stipulation's in place is because Yaarny's a pretty high variance player. High variance meaning he's fucking nuts. And there's a possibility, not necessarily a great possibility, he could win the bet in less hands than 70,000. Actually, the possibility is pretty high that he could win it in less than 70,000 hands. So stipulation was brought up. Why don't we make it, I guess it's a bit more challenging, pretty much, because that way if you do, if he's going to win the bet, he's going to win the bet no matter what. If it's no hands played, it doesn't matter. But with 70,000 hands, that just means it increases his chances of actually losing the bet, because he could get to up 100 buy-ins at 50,000 hands, and the next 20,000 hands, he might actually lose money. Then he needs to make it back. Then, it's just, you never know what could happen. So that's a little stipulation thrown in, and I can explain the 100 buy-ins can be at 510, 1020, or 2550, meaning if he wins 150 buy-ins at 510 and he loses 20 buy-ins at 1020 and he loses 20 buy-ins at 2550, he's going to be down a lot of money on the actual month for profit at the tables, but he's still going to win the bet. So that kind of plays into the possible strategy, which we did talk about later. All right, so let's talk about the bettors. Now, the list of bettors is kind of interesting because you can find people that are betting that do play in some of the same games that Yaarny's going to play. So it means they might be going out of their way to get position on him to make his life a bit more harder during the bet. It might mean that they plan to put in a little bit extra volume, thinking they might have an edge over Yaarny, which is debatable for some of the names on this list. And it kind of tells a little bit about if some of the more nittier players, the big nits, the bum hunters, if those guys are betting, then you have to figure that they think it's extremely plus EV, because these guys are pretty big nits. So when I take a look at the list here, we got a couple 2+2, a lot of 2+2 guys actually here. We got Calnell, who kind of sometimes plays the games. We got our Chilean mining friend Alexo, 18. I guess his parents gave him an extra stipend for the month here, and they're going to let him bet some money. I doubt he's telling his parents that he's actually betting their money on this bet, but it doesn't matter anymore. We got one of the biggest bum hunters of all time, Sarah Al-Aziz, who's betting $30,000 of his own money, and if he actually plays the tables, it might be in Yaarny's benefit. So I'm sure Yaarny's pretty excited about that. He posted that there's nothing more he would love to do than win money from Sarah, because he's such a huge nit. So, that's pretty exciting for him. Agri Tequila, Matt, Badger, those are also 2+2 regs who I think one of them might frequent the 6max games he plays in, but I'm not sure of his screen name, so I don't think we're going to see anything there. And checking out the rest of the list, Alien Slayer sometimes plays those stakes. XX Priv sometimes plays in those stakes. Prof Panic, and I think Balanthin is a seat scripter bum hunter guy, so he's betting $20,000. And once again, I think if he plays in these games, Yaarny's might be excited about that as well. And the big bet is Ike Haxton, who took all the rest of the action, $84,500 to make it an even $200,000 to win $100,000. So Yaarny puts up $200,000. I'm sorry, Yaarny puts up $100,000. It'd be ridiculous the other way. Yaarny puts up $100,000. The bettors put up $200,000. Ike Haxton is going to be the escrow, and the judges are a couple people. I'm one of the judges, but usually in prop bets the judges aren't really needed. So hopefully it doesn't come down to that, because if it does come down to that, it's always becomes way more interesting. So one thing that I thought was really intriguing is that Ike Haxton decided to basically take all the action. If anybody wanted to bet on the side, he would take all the action against. And I'm not really sure. I'm not sure what he's thinking. He doesn't really play those stakes. He might be planning to play those stakes. I'm guessing he has so much money on the line, he might as well play those stakes. I think it might be a little bit silly not to play, just to kind of fight for your money. And Ike hasn't been playing PLO very long, but I would assume he's pretty fucking good at PLO. No matter, he's just a great poker player, and he's been battling at the high stakes, the Zoom tables. So yeah, I certainly think he's probably got an edge in most six max lineups at this point in time. And what kind of possible cheating can we see in this bet? Yaarny's got a pretty good reputation. I don't expect too much. You never know. There's so much money on the line. What kind of cheating can we see? We can see accounts coming and kind of dumping money. We could see people playing at his tables, the bettors or friends, slowing down the action. Now at these stakes, you kind of know who the regulars are. So if an account shows up and it's kind of doing some weird shit, you can kind of, what actually comes from that, if that does happen, I'm not too sure. But, it's going to be interesting to follow along with. Yaarny just seems like a kind of guy who's just doing this to do it. He just, whatever, let's do this bet. And, I don't expect anything shady to happen on his side. So, let's hope we have a good, clean prop bet. And if you guys want to follow along with any live streams or any of my new episodes coming out, I'll be updating the prop bet once or twice throughout. You can follow me on Twitter at JoinGrim1, or you can join the Facebook page, and I post updates for new stuff on there. The link will be in the description for that. And all right, let's get into the audio. So this is what I recorded with Bren. Like I said, about 26 minutes. And good luck. Enjoy. All right, guys, we got Bren, a.k.a. the future prop bet king, Yaarny, in the house. Yaarny, thanks for taking some time out. You're in Malta right now. You told me you're getting ready to go out and potentially rage. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. I'm about 6 beers deep, so I'm ready to go.
So are you preparing for this very epic prop bet? You're preparing by going to spend some time down in Pace, I think you call it Paceville in Malta, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
So you're planning to start Saturday, right?
Yeah, Saturday, maybe tomorrow, depending on what I drink tonight. We'll see how it goes.
Why'd you decide to start? I remember initially you were going to start a while ago, and then I was talking to you on Twitter or on Skype, and I was like, why don't you just wait till WCoop? And then suddenly you were waiting till WCoop to start. But that was interesting how that happened. But
yeah, I think you maybe swayed my mind a bit to start around Scoop, but I think the real sort of like situation was I was living in England at the time, and my house was getting knocked down, so I had nowhere to grind in England. So I thought, why not move abroad, get everything out of the way, so I can concentrate just on the bet. So I thought I'd come to Malta for that, and then concentrate 100% with no distractions.
So you're living with you said a friend from back home, right? Is he going to be like the butler sort of thing for the bet? I mean, anything like that?
He said he'll do the washing up and cook me some food, so that's sort of like my maid. But I'm actually trying to teach him poker as well, so he's been grinding 0.1, 0.25 today, and he's been doing pretty well, but sort of so.
I think he's got a pretty good teacher. Why don't we just quickly tell people a little bit about you? How old are you? How long have you been playing PLO? Just like we don't want a poker story, but just give like a little brief introduction for people that don't know who you are out there.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm 24. I've been playing poker since I think I was 15 when I first started, and I started playing out on my Hold'em when I was 15, and I ran up the stakes. So I dabbled in like the games back in the party poker days when like Blood, Sweat, Tears was about, and maybe Mer, which was there. But then I transitioned to Omaha probably 4 years ago, and since then I've been working on my game a lot the last year, and I've slowly took it more seriously. The last year has probably been the most important, like, sort of development in my game, and I've sort of like I've been playing high stakes most of the time, but the last years when I've started to make the most sort of money and think a lot about the game, and I think I've started to get a good grasp about making money, big money at high stakes.
Is your what you've learned is to just run as well as anyone possibly can and three bet and get a lot of money on the flop and pre-flop? Is that your strategy?
My strategy is usually just free bet and hope for a good flop, and as good as I run, it usually works.
I feel like that's the reason you made this bet. You were sitting there and you were like, well, God, I run so fucking good. Fuck it, let's make this. Let's just make the bet. Like, what do I got to lose? If I lose this money, I'll just make it back anyway.
That is pretty much what I thought when I thought I'd make the bet. I literally thought, I run good. I mean, I'm playing good. Why not do a bet? There's literally no thought like about the bet. I just thought I want to do something exciting. There's nothing ever exciting happens even in poker anymore. It's sort of like everyone's just such a nit. They don't want to like lose $10 of EV. It's like, oh no, you're stealing my EV. I hate you. What you doing? But I just thought I'd do something fun for a laugh. It'd be good. I think I'm looking forward to it. It should be entertaining, but at the end of the day, I think I've made a plus EV bet. I mean, I know I posted in the chat that I think I'm taking the worst of it. I hope you don't post this audio before the bet starts, but I think I'm actually taking the best of it. I think.
Well, the money's already escrowed. We're ready to go. There's no turning back now.
Yeah, there's no turning back for them or me. So.
How much did you send over to Ike?
I've sent 100,000. So I sent it yesterday. So, I mean, I PM'd him today to say I've sent 100. Is it 200 against? I mean, I haven't spoke to him much, but I trust his word. So I guess it's 100 for 200.
So when I guys told you I'm gonna play this audio back after I do an intro, but I thought it was 100 to 50K. This is so you have 200,000 on the line.
I've put 100 on my side, and I think it's basically me versus Ike. I think he's got I don't even know, he hasn't said how much anyone else has got. I think he's got maybe probably over 100,000 himself, and then 2 plus 2 is put together maybe 100 or so. So I think it's my 100 to about 15 people's 200,000.
I don't understand why he's so. He's very convinced that there's no chance you can do this. I'd be curious to know why he's so convinced, because.
That's my thought process. I honestly think he just thinks I'm terrible. We played quite a bit of heads up and a lot of Zoom 6 max, and I think when we played together a lot, I think I was playing real bad. So I think the only way he's seen me play is too bad. So I think he's thought I'm just not a good player, and I can imagine that he's probably going to follow me around for the whole month and, well, just make my life hell. So I think he's just thinking he's going to play more, take my money, and win 100,000. Why would you not bet?
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure he's in Malta too, actually.
Yeah, I spoke to him and I said, like, I'm in Malta if you want to meet up or something for a beer, like, discuss it. But he doesn't seem to reply. I mean, I think he just keeps himself to himself, I think.
Well, he's holding on to all the money, buddy. So you better hope he doesn't get killed by some Italians over there in Malta, because
It's full of dangerous Italians.
those Italians they're really in your face. They don't talk much English. They're just smiling at you. I met some interesting people while I was out there, and I said this to you in Skype. If you win, if it looks like you're victorious near the end of the bet, I'm flying to Malta and I'm gonna stay there for a couple of days and join them in the celebration. That's okay, correct?
That's correct. And I have a sofa bed set up, ready and waiting for you.
Okay, I'm 100%. I'm saying this right now. I am coming to Malta. I might bring someone with, I might not. That's okay. We're both going to sleep on the sofa bed.
Yeah.
But I'm coming out there if this happens, because what's the celebration going to be like potentially? I know we're getting ahead of ourselves. We're already celebrating victory, but
I plan to celebrate anyway, but the celebration is I've got a month in Malta to celebrate, so it's going to be beer and whatever else that's maybe not be legal to celebrate.
Oh, wait, okay. Look up flights now. Okay, so let's talk a little strategy. You can tell me as much or as little as you want, and I'm just gonna tell you anything I want, because I'm not involved in anything right now, except, well, I might be judging. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I'm going to talk strategy. I don't think it matters. So, we saw Urubu's prop bet. His strategy was one of the worst strategies ever known to man.
Yeah.
His strategy was going in. I'm like, Urubu, what's your strategy going in? He's like, yeah, I'm just going to play it. I'm going to mix all the stakes together. I'm going to play all the tables. I'm like, please don't do that, dude. I'm like, please don't. I told him, I was like, please don't do that. Like, I'm telling you, do not do that. Do not do that strategy. It's not going to work. For you, it's different. You can mix 5, 10, 10, 20, 25, 50 together, because they play very much similar, whereas 1-2 plays much differently than 2-4, 3-6, in my opinion, just in terms of there's a lot more decisions to do as compared to 2-4 and 3-6, and when you mix them all together, it's really easy to miss out on a lot of those spots at the smaller stakes. But for your bet, going into this, what are you thinking? Are you thinking you're just going to play as many tables as you can? You're going to mix stakes? You're going to focus on maybe getting up some money at the smaller stakes and then playing in bigger games if nothing else is running and you want to play?
I think the main strategy, I've got to try and get as many games running as I can at the lower stakes, because I think that'll be where the weaker players are. But I think the stipulation of 70,000 hands means I can't be too picky of what stakes I've got to play. So if 25-50 is running and nothing else is running, I'm going to have to play. But my main sort of aim is to get the lowest stakes, which is 5-10, running as much as I can, which I think today there was so many 5-10 games and 10-20 games running that I think if that continues throughout the month, I think I'm a lot better than 1-2 to win. But if I'm going to have to play with games that are 25-50, which I'm probably going to have to, I think I might struggle. But my game plan is to get as many 5-10 games running as possible, and hopefully a lot of the time when there's a prop bet, it gets a lot more sort of just people joining into your games who maybe wouldn't play. So I think the games would be maybe a bit weaker than usual, and especially with the scoop, I think there'd be a lot of fish about during like the 31 days. So I think, yeah, I'm just going to try and get 5-10 to run as much as I can, and just, yeah, and just, my ideal solution would obviously be to, like, I don't think I'm going to play more than 10 tables, and I think if I could 10 table 5-10, I think I'm happy to put in 12, 14-hour sessions. I mean, most of the time I start a session, get stuck a few buy-ins, and then end up playing like 20, 24 hours. I I enjoy long sessions, so I don't mind playing as much as I can.
So it needs to be 100 buy-ins total, so it could be 25 at 5-10, 75 at 10-20, right?
Yeah. Just I need to win 100 buy-ins, like overall.
You could be down money at the end of the month and actually win the
Yeah, I
bet.
was thinking that it would be sick if I lost like 50 buy-ins at 25.50. Yeah, and then ended up like just down on the bet,
Break,
but I win.
like break even and you win the
I think
bet.
I don't even know what. I'd probably just jump off the balcony. I think I'm actually on the balcony now, and it's looking pretty appealing.
So going into it, do you have any type of ideal buy-in strategy? So let's say that you win 10 buy-ins in the first 2 hours of a day. Are you planning on maybe booking a session, play later? Are you planning to not really take into consideration how much you might be up for that day? Because when I was thinking about doing buy-in prop bets, that's something that comes into my mind that I would tend to try to book wins early when I could and kind of have that cushion kind of thing, and then game select a bit from there. So let's say the first day I can win 15 buy-ins, I might game select a little bit harder over those next few days, see how that goes, and then if I can get up to 35 buy-ins, well, after 5 days, my road's a lot easier. Whereas some people like Yorubu, I mentioned again, he had absolutely no strategy like this, and I don't think he thought about it. I mean, is that something you're considering at all?
Yeah, I've got a strategy going into it that, I mean, I don't think I'm not going to win the bet in like 5 days. I mean, I know it's going to be a long grind. I think I've got I'm not even going to look how much I'm up during the session. I mean, I just got to, I think I've got to play 70,000 hands. Not going to win the bet unless I play like probably 100,000 hands of real good poker. So I just sort of, I'm not even going to like think about anything. I'm just going to play for like 10 days straight, playing the best poker I can play. And I'll update the graphs and that, but if I don't play good poker, I'm not going to win. So my main focus is just playing the best poker I can for as long as I can. If as soon as I think I'm playing bad poker, I just turn it off and just, I don't know, maybe go to St. Julian's and release some steam.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Obviously, you say those 10 days you want to come out strong, you want to play good poker, but at the same time, you still have plenty of time to, if you feel like you're tilting at all, if you feel like you're playing your B game or your B plus game, and those early couple days of the month, you can take a few hours off. You're well afforded the time, and obviously sometimes during the day there's going to be games not running, so you might not be able to, but I think you don't want to get yourself in too big of a hole to start off right away, and that way you're constantly going up. Where you know what I'm saying? Like,
The start's so important with like Yorubu bet. He started so bad, and he as soon as he started bad, I think he just give up. When he was still ahead of the hand pace, was he? I think when he give up, yeah. I mean, if you're still ahead of the hand pace, and I think was he like $20,000 down, like, or
He was
Yeah,
about
when you're playing
30,000 down at the time.
3-6, when 3-6 ante, I think 3-6 ante, when I used to play it, you could literally, there was always like 9 tables. I don't know if it's different now, but I mean, $30,000 when you're playing another 21 days and 400,000 hands is, it's a standard downswing. I mean, if I made that bet and quit, I don't know what I'd do. I'd probably just strangle myself.
So I'm going to ask you a couple questions that we've been speculating, because we've been talking on this podcast, we've been talking on my regular podcast about the bet coming up for months. We've been talking about it with every guest. And one thing that I've talked about that is, I believe,
he thinks I'm a donk.
I was having a conversation and well, that's not it. Okay, so before your W Coupe second place that you took against Will Hasha for 285K, there was some speculation that you might actually have been busto before you won that, and then you won that bet. You got second there, rather. You didn't win it, but fuck, you won a lot of money, and then you kind of ran it up from there. Your confidence built back up, and then you decided to take on this bet.
Yeah.
Is that pretty much what happened?
You want to know the truth, or?
I mean, let's hear it.
The truth was, I bought a house which it was a bad decision. It cost probably most of my roll, and I was pretty busted, to be fair, yeah. But
you bought a house. That's not.
Yeah. I mean, it was maybe a bad decision. I don't know. You never know. You never know until after you've done it. But I was pretty busted poker-wise. But after the coup, I ran hot. Got lucky.
Yes, you
did. I ran a bit above EV, but I mean, I didn't like go on a crazy run. I think I put in a lot of hands and ran close to EV and made a decent amount of money, which I thought was worth gambling on 100 buy-ins. But I don't know. We'll find out in 33 days.
Well, I've kind of gone on record in the thread and on the podcast that I think you have a better chance at this than most people think you do.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah, I think a lot of people who are betting, I think, are like bum hunters who only play the good games, who are not very good. I think, and well, I'm the only person who knows my big blind per 100, so I don't think I've made a bad bet.
I don't think I'm gonna bet on you because I don't usually bet on prop bets, but if I was gonna take a set on this bet, I'd go with your side because one, you need to be psychotic to do any bet like this. I've played with you a very large amount of hands. You're fucking nuts. Okay. Two, I mean, you gotta have heart, and from the very many sessions I've seen you put in, you've got a lot of heart. You don't enjoy quitting when you're down, and you do a much better job than most people at getting back up before you quit a session. And obviously, whether some people might think you might play bad sometimes, which debatably you might, I think you play very well for somebody who's capable of putting in the amount of hours that it's going to take. And if you can put in 12 hours in a bet like this consistently over a month's time, even maybe 20 days' time, I think you have a great chance of pulling it off, which you can do. So,
where's your money on my side?
I don't know. I think it's going to happen. I mean, I really do. I think that we're overestimating in a way what 100 buy-ins really is, because 100 buy-ins at these stakes, it's a lot, right? But most people aren't playing 8 to 10 hours a day every day.
Yeah, I think a lot of the time I never play on weekends, and when I'm going to do the challenge, the weekends are going to be like the key decider of they're the they're the best of games that I ever get. And I think if I play on the weekends all the time, I think it just shoots up my EV in the bet. It's just like, I think I've got to be a favourite, I think, but I don't know. Maybe I'm deluded, I'm not sure, but I think I've...
You know, it's gonna be unique just because, like you said, when there's a bet like this, and I'm gonna try my best to make it as widely well known as possible. Obviously, there's gonna be a lot of interest with the Euro prop bet. I mean, there was so much. That was one of the most interesting threads of the year in PLO.
Yeah, I actually think the Euro bet was... I don't know. I think if you lock yourself in a room and you play 10,000 hands a day, I think it's tough, but I think to break even for Yorubu, he beats like 5, 10, 10, 20. I think if I was to do that bet, well, yeah, debatably, yeah, he beats it when he flips, but I don't know. I think if I was to do that bet, I'd put more than the 100k I've got on this bet. For sure. I think.
Well, I don't want to say what my strategy would be that bet.
Could you?
I might take that bet at some point in time in my life. So
yeah, I don't think you get the action. I'd bet $1 at 100 to 1.
Kid, if you pull this bet off, I don't think anyone's betting against you anytime soon.
No, I think if I pull this bet, I think I might actually like quit poker. I think, honestly, I think I might.
I'm betting against you now. You're not taking this money on the community, damn it.
Yeah, I'm taking it and I'm spending it on my own devices, which will be a moral.
No, I'm in for that. No, count me in for that part though.
Yeah.
I'm in for the spending the money on devices.
When I win the bet, I've got 300,000 to spend in peso, which.
What? Why don't we go to Ibiza?
Ibiza?
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's spend it right.
Well, when you come out here, we go to Paceville, then to Ibiza, and then wherever you like.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I don't have any commitments in my life. I had a girlfriend, now I don't have a girlfriend, so I can go anywhere I want now. So
yeah, but the deal's done. I just need to win the bet. If I lose the bet, I'm busted.
I'll stake you. I got you, man.
I'm not actually busted.
I got you. I'll put you in something.
Yeah.
Well, technically, you could go. I mean,
Well, I could. Yeah. I mean, if I lose a lot at 25-50, or I don't know. If I think
enough volume will be at 10-20 and 5-10. I think 10-20 alone. I think you could play the whole entire bet at 10-20. To be honest with you, you don't even have to play 25-50.
Yeah, I think I probably don't have to play a hand at above 10-20 if I don't want to. But I mean, I'm gonna be like
degen.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like playing 12 hours a day. So if 25-50 runs, I'm gonna play it.
You're gonna be there. Well, as you said, I hope you post some updates. I'm gonna be doing some updates over the month's time span. We'll see how it goes. With the Euro prop bet, I was gonna do a mid bet update, and yeah, I mean it was over in like fucking 2 days. And I'm gonna do a posting update. If you're victorious or if you lose, we're gonna try to get you on for a post update. If you win, it's gonna be a live podcast.
Yeah.
And during the middle, I'm gonna try to do a little update, break it down for people that have kind of followed along. And yeah, I don't have anything else, man. You got anything else to add? I mean, I wish you luck. I hope you don't die tonight, my friend. I hope you.
If I die tonight, just know I was gonna give it my all, but I try not to die.
Give me a password.
All right, Bren. Thanks a lot, my friend. Have fun tonight, buddy. Okay?
Yeah, cool.
I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. All right.
See ya.
Take care.
All right, bye.